Okay, by now you've had a chance to check the stress patterns for these words. And what we really want to notice is the relationship between words that are related to each other through suffixation, right? Where complex words have been created from simple words by adding an ending and observing the change in stress. Right? So if you haven't yet done the exercise, find a dictionary and look up these words and make a note of where the placement of primary stress and secondary stress occurs. Primary stress is marked with an accent mark that rises from left to right, and secondary stress is marked with an accent mark that falls from left to right. So please pause the video and work through the items, the pairs on this sheet, and identify the stressed syllables, and also whether they're primary stress or secondary stress. Go ahead, pause. Okay, let's take a look at what the stress patterns are for these words. Right? You should have noticed that atom has stress on the first syllable, but when I add the IC ending, the ic ending that makes an adjective atomic, right, stress has shifted to the second syllable. Define becomes definition. Define has stress on the second syllable only, and the first syllable is unstressed. Definition then has secondary stress on the first syllable and primary stress on the third syllable. Melody. Melody has stress on the first syllable. Melodic has stress on the second syllable. Parent has stress on the first syllable, but parental has stress on the second syllable. Terrify has stress on the first syllable. Terrific, stress on the second syllable. Ambiguous has secondary stress on the first syllable, primary stress on the second syllable. Ambiguity, right? When the ity ending replaces the us ending, it changes the placement of stress. Secondary stress remains on the first syllable, but primary stress is shifted to the third syllable. Ambiguity. Compose has stress on the second syllable, but composition receives secondary stress on the first syllable and primary stress on the third syllable. Continent, stress on the first syllable. Continental, secondary stress on the first syllable and then primary stress on the third syllable. Modify. Now, modify actually has primary stress on the first syllable and secondary stress on the third syllable. I didn't mark that there. But when we add the suffix to create a noun, modification, the first syllable receives secondary stress, and the placement of primary stress has shifted to the fourth syllable. Modification. Origin becomes original, as we've seen before. Invite becomes invitation. Secondary stress on the first syllable. Primary stress shifts to the third syllable. And finally, combine becomes combination, where primary stress on the second syllable in combine is shifted to the third syllable in combination. Secondary stress then is placed on the first syllable in combination. Okay, so that's practice identifying shifting stress placement when suffixes are added to create complex words.